hello and welcome. I'm surprised, surprised. What's the word? Thunderbirds. Instead of having our paranormal show tonight, we are going to have our politics show. And we're having it just because we got to talk about this hot topic of the university students. Yeah. I know if I was going there, I'd want a refund. Yeah. So can they get their money back? Let's find out. Bring in the rest of the team. The heartbeat of the South. My son Tim Harrington, every beat of my heart. Hey Tim.
Hey, Mom, how's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, well, I guess I'm tired, but we're gonna be short tonight, so we'll
All right.
probably do about 45 minutes, if not that long. All right. We
Okay.
just gotta touch on this topic just a little bit,
Okay.
but we don't hardly ever take off flight. What to say? All aboard? Not yet. Until the girl is here. Kathy C. Carson. Hi,
Hey,
Kathy.
Hey,
how you doing?
Hi. We're doing pretty good. I think everybody's tired. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining us, Sandra. Sandra's always early bird.
hey,
She gets
Sandra.
in there. Sandra always going to be in there. She gets in on the know. And she shares our show. All right. Thank you so much. So, y'all, the hot topic. I know y'all seen it on the news. And if you're like
Yes,
me, I've been catching different talk show hosts talk about it.
yes,
And they got their opinions. They got half this on the student side, and then you got the other half of the nation and world against the students, saying they should not be allowed. They should be removed. So, Tim,
yes.
did you hear anything about it?
Yeah, I think it's been trending all day, and
Mm.
probably some most of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. By my count thus far, we got about 28 colleges that are participating right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was, I think, 300 were arrested in New York. We have 15 injured at UCLA.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Uh, and I was surprised when I read a little bit on this Columbia. They are saying that it's faculty and staff that are with the students.
That's true.
Yeah,
And not just Columbia, some of the universities, faculty, and staff have joined the students as well.
I was surprised.
And why were you surprised?
Um, for them to stand up on something that they believe that strongly, on something that could affect their livelihood, whether they have a job or not. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It's very rare to see that
I
this day
agree.
and age.
I agree. Yeah. Kathy, have you heard it about it? Have you heard about it?
Yeah, I have, especially today and yesterday. I heard that there were 1,000 students that were arrested
Mm.
and by the police, and they had zip ties and everything wrapped around their wrists. And I thought that was horrible that they could be doing that in the United States. And then today there was a pastor who had like 350,000 people, subscribers, and he was trying to say it was disgraceful that they're allowing the students to protest. And then he started saying that he was comparing them to Hitler. Just, why? I mean, they're blowing it out of proportion, some of these religious leaders. And I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense because we already talked about it, and a lot of the Jewish students are protesting. So
Yeah,
how can it be that they're like Hitler? I don't know. It's crazy. Hmm.
I agree, Kathy. I agree. Well, it doesn't matter whether we're on Thursday night or Wednesday night. They gotta hear what we're saying. Thank you for those of you coming in. Please share the show. We got 45 of you that have found us. Y'all were following us, aren't you? Okay, we sure appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, So, 5:44. We've been live for 5 minutes and 44 seconds. We have 45 audience views, up to 51 now. Thank y'all so very much. Please continue to share. Well, we're gonna take off tomorrow night, so let me just let spread the word, so y'all won't come looking for us. We're gonna take off tomorrow night because last Friday night, did we do a show? We didn't, right? Because I was sick. Did we do a
Yeah.
show? Oh no, we didn't.
Okay.
I was sick. But this, no, I was sick because I had gone to the doctor that morning.
Okay.
But this Friday night we have a show. We got our friend Liz Taylor, Liz Taylor. Oh my God!
Elaine Presley. She goes by Elaine
I
Presley.
figured
She goes,
a Liz Taylor, Elizabeth Taylor, this movie star. Why did her
Elaine
name roll
Presley.
off my tongue like that?
She's
She must.
talking about you.
She must be listening. She did,
I
but
Yeah.
she
You
know.
must.
never know.
But she must be listening. I was one of her top fans. Now how she know, I don't know, but we've got Liz Presley, Elaine Presley, going to be with us tonight, and she has some exciting news to share that I know that some of you are going to be interested in, and some of you are going to want to take a part in too. So you got to join us tomorrow night for that.
Friday
But
night.
I mean Friday night. Thanks, Tim. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but
Friday.
yeah, Friday night. So, but like on the kids, yeah, the students, seems like they may have heard us too because we were applauding them and telling them, yes, please keep it up, and it has spread like wildfire. And so, but it's just outrageous the way that some universities have responded by calling in their law enforcement on peace. Well, and we all know why. That as Tim um, pointed out, that well, they're undergoing by advice that they get from whoever signs their paychecks, the administrators, and so if the person that signs the paychecks say call the police, and they have to call the police, I suppose. But it's a catch 22 when you think about it. When you come to staff and faculty, like Tim said, do I don't want to call the police on these students, but my boss is telling me that I must do this. What do you do, Kathy? What do you do?
I wouldn't do it.
Okay,
Even if I
Tim.
lost my job, I wouldn't do it.
If I had if I had a family still to raise, I would. I would.
You would call 'em.
Yeah.
I understand, and that's a position that so I'm sure that some administrators are finding themselves in,
Absolutely. Yeah. No doubt.
and then also, you got the politicians are sticking their nose in it,
Yes.
whereas politics and education should not be hand in hand. Politicians need to keep their big noses and their big mouths out of the educational arena.
Well.
Only except for when they have to pass laws in their chambers up there in their legislative houses of Congress and what have you. But other than that, they need to keep their 2 cents and what they think about the universities and what's going on at the universities out of their business and out of their mouths, off of their lips, off of their tongues.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Tim.
same with religious leaders. They should do the same because this one religious leader was trying to say that Israel is the chosen people. And just for that reason, he made it sound like they could do anything they want to claim back their land because he was
Yeah.
trying to say it was their land.
And what people fail to realize is this: Israel is a state, it's not a Jew, and it should
Mm-hmm.
be treated as any other state.
Exactly.
Well.
Exactly.
Okay? Because
Yeah.
every state got some Jews that live in it, but Israel is just a state. It says the state of Israel. Israel
Mm-hmm.
itself is not a Jew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to touch on right quick on you were saying about the politicians sticking their nose in.
Hmm.
Uh, I, I did a quick peek in. about what the college kids want the colleges to sever ties with.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
what we have to realize is these ties go way, way back, and we're
Yep.
talking about corporate giants like
Mm.
General Electric,
Mm.
Rolls Royce,
Mm.
IBM. You know, and I'm sure um, the colleges they have done a whole lot for, whether it be on the table or underneath the table,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so is what they're asking for is in reason.
Yeah, they want the diverse money. They don't want them to support any country, any company or corporation that funds weapons to Israel. And so, uh, that they get 3.8 billion from the government, United States government,
Hmm.
but they never tell how many billions they get from these companies.
Right,
You see,
right. Hence,
so
those politicians sticking their nose in because you're dealing with big corporations.
yeah, and so you see, uh, the students are smarter about politics than the politicians, preachers, apparently the administrators, and faculty, some faculty and staff thought they were. You talking about Ivy League colleges where a student pays $400,000 a year for, I mean, $100,000 a year, total of $400,000 for a degree, and you think that you're not teaching them anything? Or what does that say about your university? If they are not supposed to be abreast in what's going on in the world, in the modern world, if they're not supposed to know, if they are supposed to turn a blind eye to wrong, if they're not supposed to know the difference between right and wrong, what does that say about how you've been teaching them for all of these decades, right?
Well, they already aren't teaching them the right stuff. So that's already, I know because I was a teacher, so I know.
Because it's like they're not
Yeah,
teaching the right stuff.
you know,
No, because they can't even pass their tests, so they're not in a lot of states in the United States. And there's a
you
lot
know,
of countries more advanced than them. So that proves it right there. And then the other thing is they're not telling the truth about where we came from and all these things. And historically, all these discoveries are coming up. They're making them look like fools because they've been teaching that crap for decades.
Yes, 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 Kathy. I agree. I totally agree.
um,
Tim.
yeah, I definitely agree. Um, I don't care how I look at this situation. It takes me back to the Vietnam War
Mm-hmm.
protests that were taking place then. Um, they took a stand, but they really were unable to get what they were shooting for. The war still happened, even though those strong protesters, and those protesters were very, very, very strong compared to these today.
I don't know. I beg the difference. I think
Big
these young
difference.
people today are a whole lot stronger because these young people today are a lot more wiser than those people were back then.
But is that enough? We must ask ourselves
Oh,
this
it's
question.
enough. It's enough. And the thing about it, I heard this attorney. They are hiring attorneys too. There are a lot of attorneys that are representing these students. And I listened to one in an interview on yesterday, and she said that she was representing the students at was it the New York, in New York, it was New York NYPD when they came in, and she was saying that the college was wrong, the university was wrong to call the police. Number one, number two, the police had no right to come in there on the college campus, even if they had been called. Number two, and then number three, when they got in there, they had no business, um, touching students, dragging students, hitting students, beating students. and treating students like they were uh, common criminals. And number four, she said that they will be held accountable, and that she wanted all of the other she wanted the students to know that they are proud of them, and that there will always be an attorney that will get them out of jail. They will not stay in jail when they are arrested. So
Good.
I was happy to hear that. And so, and that's what we said. That's what I said when we first heard about the first college. But I found out that Brown University had started doing this really before Columbia, because Brown University's administration and faculty now has been to the negotiation table with those students. They started their protest in November, but we didn't hear anything about it, right? So
Right.
now they are at the negotiation table, um, getting ready to sign their deal. Their Brown University is pulling away, divesting all of their money from the companies that support Israel. So it's but see, that's what I tell you about Western media. You cannot, anything that's important, you're not gonna find it on Western media. They only
Right.
feed you what they want us to know.
Mhm.
So, because if I had not been watching this European channel, I would have never known that Brown University actually started their sitting and their protests in November, the month after October, when all of this fresh devastation was going on that Israel and IDF um, thugs were doing. Well, Netanyahu and his IDF thugs, because it's not all of Israel. So I want to make sure I retract that statement. Netanyahu and his IDF thugs, because it's not all of the people that
You
live in Israel.
you
They are not. Go
you
ahead.
want to know who's more pissed off than the students?
Who?
The parents just paying their tuition.
I doubt that. I'll bet you those parents stand behind those students. I bet you they stand with them 100%. And I'll tell you something else. I'll take it a step further. You know that these hundreds of thousands of young students are not going to be voting for Biden in November. And don't you think that they're going to convince their parents not to vote for him either? What do you think, Kathy?
Well, yeah. I mean, they already see what he's doing and all the money he's giving Israel. I mean, that's the main thing. He's giving them money
Now
that we
that's
should
right.
be keeping in
Right.
our country.
I agree with that part. But on
Yeah.
that parental part, I have to think twice on that parental part.
Well, it'll be a few, but I bet you the majority of them stand by their kids. Because in this day and age, if I've learned one thing about modern youth of 2020, of the 2020s, I'm gonna put it that way, of the 2020s, they have a bigger influence on parents than parents have an influence on them. They tell the parents what to do.
Mhm.
These young people raise these parents nowadays. They're either goody goody best friend with them and gonna do everything that they want, give them everything that they want, and try to act and be every way that they want them to be, so that the children will be proud of them. That way, okay?
Hmm.
Or they just don't care. They just pour out the money and let them do what they want to do. I mean, if you go to Ivy League college, most of the time they don't even hardly see their parents anyway, and they just pay the
Uh,
money to send them away.
if I look at it from a different perspective, I would say those parents that were back in those Woodstock eras, um, they could relate.
Mm.
They actually could really relate because they did it too. Um,
Well, these would be their grandparents that was back in Woodstock area. That would be, it wouldn't
well,
be these
yeah, you're right.
parents.
Yeah, their grandkids are the grandkids are the ones protesting now.
Right.
The,
Yeah.
Right. You're
But
right.
Great is grandkids and great grandkids, and not parents of
Right.
Woodstock. Yeah, yeah. So but yeah, because I mean, yeah, basically they parents and grandparents. I mean, grandparents mostly. Parents don't know anything more about Woodstock than what their parents told them, and what they've seen
Right.
on TV and stuff, what have you. But the other thing is that um, the I think that it's spreading really fast, and I think it's a good thing.
mhm.
Uh, and the other thing that these young people are, while they are taking up this issue, the biggest point that they're trying to make is that they don't want the government controlling their speech. Can I say that one more time? They do not want the government controlling their speech. In other words, they don't want the government telling them what they can say, and what to think, or what to say based on what the government told them to think.
Sound familiar? Woodstock.
Exactly. Same concept, just a different time. And they say that they're asking for three things. They want the diversion of money, they want humanitarian aid, and they want amnesty for all the students, any student that is suspended or thrown out, kicked out. But the legal side of it is they have attorneys that have come to them, attorneys that have sought them out, that will be filing legal lawsuits against the university and against these police departments. So when they called in the police, that was a dumb thing to do, because
Yeah,
when
it
you call
was.
in police, you opening yourself up for lawsuit after lawsuit.
It's
So
like we
they,
talked about last week. You can't
yeah,
hide anything anymore. And
cannot
everybody
hide
has
it.
cell phones you can record. So all of those things can be used as evidence. So this is idiotic of them to do. And especially when lawsuits are a thing of every day nowadays.
You're
So
right. You're right, Kathy. Good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kathy. I think this is what I think, and it could be just me. I think so many deals have been made with these companies uh, that it would be a very very black stain on those colleges if their actual relationships, what they had with the corporates, uh, was to come to light. You know what I mean? We're talking about these so-called business ships or friendships. Same thing with Biden with Untaru, right?
Mm,
He can do what he want to do because he got Biden right where he wanted him the whole
mm,
time.
mm.
Does these companies have a stake in these colleges? What deals was actually made all over these years of time,
Mm, mm,
right?
Well,
This
maybe
is
that's one of the reasons why this is all coming to light, so that
absolutely
everything can be
because
exposed.
right,
yeah.
because nobody pulled the curtain back until now to see what is really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Mhm.
can't you sever from them?
Yeah, yeah. A good question. And why they fighting it so hard?
Right. What are you
Yeah,
hiding?
yeah.
Very
You're right,
good,
Tim.
Tim. Very good. Very good, Tim. You
Very
have a great.
good. Very good, Tim. They must be hiding something, just like Biden hiding
They
something.
got to because
Yeah,
this
I
is
think
something as simple as a phone call,
the students are going to uncover a lot for
Y-
us, and
Yes.
and I
so
believe
glad.
that's what they're afraid of. I
I'm
think that's
so
what they're
glad.
really afraid of.
Power in the students. Power in the
Yeah,
students.
they're
Yeah.
they're afraid of that curtain being pulled back.
Mm-hmm. So they try to shut them up. They try to nip it in the bud like Barney Fife.
Absolutely. Can you imagine how many crooked deals have been made ever since the 70s and the 80s?
You mean ever since the 20s and 30s and 40s?
You're right.
Right,
Because
and
it
Because
started.
And if
Mhm.
we're talking about religious affiliated colleges, again, you're talking about religious leaders trying to shut
Mhm.
everybody up so they can make their big paychecks and
Right.
take it
Absolutely.
out of the till when people are giving and they have already been proven corrupt, a lot of them.
I
So
know,
Absolutely.
right, Kathy?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
they
Yes.
live far above their means
Yeah.
because of the donations that they receive.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely correct. Well, I'll tell you, we've covered the first half of it, and so if y'all can think of any more pointers while we're going to break right quick, we'll bring those up. And then I was watching for James, but he hasn't popped in, so I guess the dog ate the internet again.
Yeah, yeah.
That dog
Oh
is.
well. Oh
All
well.
right. Well, we'll be back, y'all. Stick and stay. Don't go away. All right, we are back. Make sure you order your Omaha sticks today. Get some of those sales specials. This is grilling time. It's
Yeah.
spring. It's spring. It's summertime.
Yeah. Mhm.
Ah, time for the steaks. All right. Okay, then. So, getting back to the protest, how long do you think it's going to last, Tim?
Depends on their dedication.
Oh, they dedicated. They said they're not going anywhere.
The only way that it's gonna really work is for the long term.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like the snowball effect. You know what I mean? Rolling downhill. So now it's picking up more steam and more steam.
It
Pretty
is.
pretty soon they won't have a choice at stopping it at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that's when everybody's gonna get to see what's behind the curtain.
Kathy, how long you
Well, I
think it?
think, well, I think a lot of students go only because their parents want them to go. So I don't think they have as much a stake in colleges that everyone thinks they do. So yeah, they'd rather choose freedom and the right thing over going to school because their parents are forcing them to.
Forcing them to,
Yeah, a
Well,
lot of them do force them to go to college. I mean, not that I like. There's a lot of vocational schools that teach you really good things too. So you don't have to go to a regular college, and then they don't even apply it. You know what they've learned to any job. I already know about that too. You know, a fraction of it. So maybe it's going to turn our whole education system around, and I hope it does.
it
but, but
might.
but do you all agree? If I have nothing to hide, right,
Mm-hmm.
it could be just as easy as a conference phone call to server.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's nothing complicated about it because they shouldn't be that deep in with a company to that degree to where I can't make a conference call and say that
Mhm.
we have to cut ties because this is what's going on?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
it's not.
complicated. Corporate people do it all the time on a conference call.
Yeah, of
It's no
course,
difference.
of course. And my attorney will meet your attorney with the paperwork, right?
Absolutely.
At the steakhouse.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it will continue because the numbers, more and more colleges will keep coming. But some critics think that since this is graduation period time, this is May, they're graduating, summer's coming, that it's going to die down. What do you think, Tim? Because they don't usually go to school in the summertime.
Yeah, it goes right back to my first answer. It depends on their dedication.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have to be at the college. They can be at the
They can
streets.
put, yeah, that's what I was just going to say. That was one of my exact words. They can take it to the streets. That's
And
Taking
perfect.
it to the
Street.
streets.
Yes.
Yeah.
that may be a even a better option for them because they are so technology savvy.
I think they will. I think they will continue it, and when they get out, because a lot of them are not going to be traveling for the summer anyways. There are a lot of them that are in different states going to college. They're out of state. They're going to bring it back when they go home for the summer. They're going to start it up there in their own hometowns. So it's like the the people. Why is it that the people is always in charge? Don't stop to think. Because had there been men at the Columbia University and I was in charge, I would have stopped and asked myself two or three questions. Number one, should I call the police, or am I allowed to call the police? Uh, Number two, what's gonna happen if I do call the police? Okay, what's the pros? What's the cons? I would look at it from both sides, and
Right.
then you know
But
before
they
I
got
made a
lawyers.
decision.
The colleges have lawyers. So
Yeah, they
nobody
have
check.
lawyers. They probably did talk to their attorneys, but there's still one person that makes the final decision. It's always one.
They
No, not the dean. It's the they said administrator. What do they call
oh
this? They said the what do they call them, Kathy? The
Lord.
person. It's not the bursar, but the bursar's over the money. But it's they call it administrator or something.
Hmm.
Anyhow,
I know exactly what
Trainers.
you're talking about. It's a group. It's a group, right?
no, it's just one person. I
Oh,
mean,
it's a
Oh, one
board.
person.
Oh, the president of the campus.
yeah, president, the
President.
president.
Okay.
Yeah. It's always like, yeah, the president always got the final decision. She's got
Yeah.
staff, she's got board, or he's got staff, he's got board. And they probably all discussed it, but, the ultimate decision relies on the president.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
They probably not going to be in that position a
they
long time.
already asking for the resignation of her resignation. They started asking for that last week.
Yeah.
She is not resigned yet, though.
That's a
Um,
problem.
that's for at Columbia. Now, in New York, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're asking for that person's resignation too. But I'm pretty sure at each college they're going to end up asking for the resignation of each president if they call the police on them. For
Yeah.
those definitely that had called the police on them. But I saw this video today, this evening before I came on the show, and I saw where they went into NYPD. They went into last night. There was a little commotion. They went into, well, it may have been Columbia at the Hines. They had taken over the building, and they had named the building it was called Hamilton Hall, named after Andrew Hamilton, president. United States years ago, thousands of years ago.
Mm.
But anyhow, it was named after Hamilton, and they changed the name to Hines Hall in honor of this little girl. that was left in a car that died from starvation because couldn't nobody get to her in a combat zone over there in Gaza where they had shot the car up and everybody in the car died instantly. And she was left there alive, survived, probably injured, but nobody could get to her because anybody that tried to get to them, the IDF would shoot at them and, chase them back. So
Yeah.
they named the building Heinz Building, Hinds, after her. Kind of sounds like an Israeli name, doesn't it? Like a
Mm.
Jewish name, Hinds. It sounds
Yeah.
like it, you know? And so, anyhow, they had barricaded themselves in there. So last night, they went in to get them out, drug them out, beat them out. And then I saw where this one cop threw a student down the stairs. It was like watching on a movie. You know how when people fall down the stairs and their body roll down each step all the way
Yeah.
till they hit the ground?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how that poor student's body was slung down those stairs. And it was just, I wanted to cry. I
Well,
wanted to
I
cry.
think the corruption is coming out in people who are corrupted in situations like that, and I think they should fire that cop
Oh,
Yeah.
he will be sued, that's for
You,
sure.
and fired.
they
Yeah.
can't. Here's the thing, and it's tricky situation when you get into that. Um, it's like it's like they already hyper from a level of 1 to 10 to a 10. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know what do they call it? A hostile situation. You're
Mm-hmm.
sending me into a hostile situation, so my training tells me to take it to that level, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you call the cops these days, you may want them to do one thing, but what they end up doing may be something totally different,
That's not funny, but you're right.
Exactly.
You're right,
right?
though. Yeah,
Some
you're
people
Yeah.
right.
have died,
Mm-hmm.
family members that were unalive because they did one thing and they're turning to something different,
Yeah, you call them in to calm the situation and they make the
right?
situation worse.
But, but they're gonna meet whatever level that person is on. That cop is gonna meet it or overextend it.
Most
That's
of the
their
time they
training.
overextend it.
Yeah, that's their training, and that's what they're gonna fall back on. That's gonna
Well,
be
Mm-hmm.
not
their
yeah.
excuse.
It's not just their training. They got a lot of cops got big egos. They were
That's
the
it.
class,
Absolutely,
That's
they
the
were
absolutely,
the class
problem.
bullies. They were the class
and,
bullies
and
in high
God
school.
complexes. Yeah, they
Say
do.
that
Yeah.
again, Kathy. They
They were
got
the
too.
class bullies in high school.
You got
That's
too many bullies on the police force.
yeah,
They will
Absolutely.
bullies.
get their tails beat in school all the time and got the butts beat all the time in the
Hmm.
neighborhood. So they go and join up the cop force so
Yeah,
Yep.
they
so
can
they
beat up
can. Yeah,
somebody like they
Legally.
got beat
Hmm.
up legally.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they can be like they got beat up that was illegal to them.
Yeah,
You know.
hiding behind the badge, hiding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to bet you $1.25. Half of the police force of every police force in every state in the United States is a bully
yep,
or a
yep,
coward.
Yeah,
yep.
uh,
These days,
yeah,
these
yeah,
days, and I may put emphasis on these days because, I'm like back when they used to make them walk the beat, like up in New York.
yeah.
And they still have a beat in New York,
They
but
do.
all of these cities need to make these cops have beats, put their ass out of those cars and make
They
them
do.
walk.
They do.
They
Yeah,
do.
Exactly. They didn't get to just sit there and have donuts. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, but the old cops, they had to work hard.
They knew
Those old,
right.
everything.
those old cops earned their little money they were making, and they put their lives at bigger risk than these cops will do today because the bully is not going to do nothing but pull his gun like Barney Fife
Yeah,
and start shooting.
right.
You're not gonna try to resolve nothing. Show ain't gonna run and chase nobody, right?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And so they were really mistreating those students. So Piers Morgan watched a couple of his clips this evening.
Okay.
He got into it with Cornel West. He's running for president
Okay.
of the United States, and he is um, a professor at Los Angeles University.
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles, and So Piers Morgan got into it with him on the show live, and also this other guy that's normally his guest. I can't think of his name, but they chewed in on Piers so tough his own show because what Piers has been doing all this week, y'all. As I've watched him every single day, Piers Morgan. That's the reason why I said I don't like. I used to like him, but I'm watching him more and more, try to see if I still want to like him. What I'm finding out is Piers Morgan is just as bigoted as Biden is, and just as Zionistic by Joe Biden and colonialism, and I'm too old and I'm too new is,
Mm.
and he's been putting it in his eloquent words and framework to his guests and try to catch him in a catchphrase and stuff, that kind of stuff. So Cornell West and this other guy lit it to him. They called him out for just what he was and told him that they said the same thing I said. Really, they've been watching him build this framework about how the Jewish students are so frightened they can't go to class and this, that, and the other on the Jew. He said, but you're not telling the old side of it. You're only telling one side, and you just think it's so awful for that side, but you don't think it's awful for the other side. They got beat up by the cops.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, they just told me you are a racist Zionist. That's what they called him today
Mm.
on his show live. He turned so pink. God, he was, but he held himself though. I think he really wanted to cry. He's a bully that uses words. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because he's a
Good. Yeah.
journalist. He's
Uh-huh.
a journalist. He's a writer. So he bullied people with his words.
Yeah.
But these two guys, man, they lit into him and tore him up today. He couldn't find words. He literally had tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
And Kathy, no offense to you, but he did. That lipstick you got on, he turned about the color today.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah,
okay.
Well,
yeah, but
Well,
you know
the
he
shoe
needed
fits.
that.
If the
He
shoe fits, then
he needed
yeah,
right.
that
and he's
Yeah, because
because he
telling
caught.
lies to the American people. He's telling
Yeah,
lies, so he's got to get a
that's
kick
what
in the
they
butt.
called him. They called him a liar, and they
Yeah,
said because he calls his show Piers Morgan Uncensored, which means it's supposed to be equal, that he don't take sides, right? Uncensored. So, and that, I mean, they called him out. And that's what Cornell West said. And you're supposed to be a journalist, man. You ought to be shaming yourself. You know you ain't supposed to take no one side like that. So you've been framing up this one side ever since it started on the news with Columbia University. I mean, they said him
not
down.
not only is that why he makes the big bucks, but that's the problem with being on stage. Everybody's watching, even when you
Everybody's watching.
yeah,
Somebody's watching you.
absolutely. Big brother is
Mm,
watching.
yeah, so I mean, he got told today, I'm gonna see what he gonna be looking like tomorrow.
He gotta show up. He don't have the option of calling in sick.
No, it's
Nah.
his, it's his show. He broadcasts every day. Now
Yes.
he has some good guests on. Now give him that, but he's British, okay? So naturally, when you look at it, he's British. He's from the UK. He's born and raised in the UK, in the money level, silver spoon in his mouth, born with it. So naturally, he believes in colonialism.
Mm.
Naturally, he believes in capitalism.
Mm.
You know, and I don't care if you come out of a culture like that, and then 30 years later, you try to get on. You've lived your whole life with a silver spoon in your mouth. Then you try
Right.
to get on a TV show
Yeah.
and try to fake like you are
Something you mind.
uncensored and unbiased. Somebody go catch you in a lie. He
Yes.
got caught today.
Yeah. Somebody called him on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the first time. Now, it's not. I mean, I've seen him for the past year or so, year and a half, about a year and a half, so off and on. But And I'd already said, I'd already come to that conclusion because I know when he was started talking about the war in October, I was like, Pierce, sound like to me you kind of prejudiced, you know. I'm just saying that to myself here in my house, you know. But so he's been on and on. He got all the way through 7 months of doing that one side of playing that. He'll take a little bit off for the other side,
Mm.
for the Palestinian pro-Palestinian cause. But the weight of it he puts on the Jewish side, just like Biden, right? He finally got called on it today, man. They tore him up so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, God, I wish they would talk to Biden that way. If only they could meet with Biden and set Biden like they set out Biden like they set our peers today, we'd have a ceasefire really fast. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, probably not. Biden probably called the police on them. That's what
Good one.
Yep.
Amen.
he
Yeah.
called the
Take
police.
him from himself.
Yeah. All right, another fun show. We're gonna be getting out of here. It's Kathy, closing comments.
Well, I think a lot of these college administrators that are sitting on boards, they just care about their bosses who pay their salaries and the corporations that Tim said are involved with them. They don't care about the students. They
No.
don't care about the students. They're all in the for the money. It's obvious.
Well, you're right, Kathy. I totally agree. You're right. Everybody's about that money, 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 money.
Mm.
Money.
Get it, Kathy. All right. Good job, Kathy. Tim, closing comments.
Woo, interesting. A lot of good information. Um, just in case your students run past this show, bravo, bravo.
Yeah, let's get
You
a
got to
students
stand for something.
ahead.
You got to
Yeah.
stand.
Aha. Whatever they do.
Yeah.
If I
Exactly. You
had
got
my
to
Yeah.
Viking
stand.
hat, I'd wear my Viking hat, but I don't have any.
Right. You're right. You got to stand for something, or you'll fall for anything.
Yeah, right.
Good job. Good job, Tim. Exactly. All right, then. So, y'all know what I always close with free
Mm,
thought is a philosophy. And that's what they teach them at the universities.
mm.
Imagine that. Now they don't want them to
To
speak.
use it.
Well, they teach them fake true talk. Actually, they don't teach them
Yeah,
real talk because obviously they can't handle it.
they can't handle
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
But you know they have philosophy classes in
They do.
university.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Of course, yeah, I took philosophy in my university when I was doing my bachelor's. I love philosophy, but
Mm-hmm.
free speech is a philosophy and it's not a policy. But
Mm-hmm.
now the universities want to put a policy on the university students.
Mm.
How dumb is that? Good job, students. Keep it up.
yeah,
I already know you're not gonna let them turn your free speech into a policy because
Yeah.
that's what y'all are fighting for,
Yeah.
and we are fighting for it with you. All right. Pearls politics always. Please share this show, and y'all take a look at us and have some laughs while y'all sitting around in the city. All right. We'll see you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We had 98 to stay with us. We will see you all so much. We thank you so very much, rather. And we'll see you guys on Friday night. Remember, we're not going to be here tomorrow night. And thanks for finding us on a Wednesday night. I don't know, you probably was looking for the paranormal show, probably, huh?
who
Well,
knows?
we kind of switched it around a little bit. Hope you enjoyed it, though. But thank you for keeping us company. That's it for us tonight. We'll see you Friday night. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Right.